We're ready to start this morning's ceremonies, and a special request was made today. So please welcome our mayor, escorted by Junior High School ROTC. Don't get too comfortable, because as soon as the mayor reaches the stage here, I'm going to ask everyone to stand again, because we're going to be presenting our colors. Okay, we're going to ask, again, members of the Junior ROTC from Lynn English High School to present our colors. And we are all standing, so please present arms. You might as well remain standing, because my opening remarks will be very short. Then we're going to go into the Pledge of the Allegiance following the national anthem, and then we will sit. So please remain standing. My opening remarks are going to be very short. I was going to ask the veterans in the audience to please stand, but while you're all standing, I'm now going to ask all veterans to please raise their hands. Thank you very much for your service. How about a hand for those people? The invocation is normally done, if you've been at previous affairs, by Father Al Ferrara, who is a Marine veteran and a member of the Order of Franciscans. He recently had a death in his family, was unable to attend today, and we recruited a gentleman who has been very supportive of the veterans in the city. He is presently the commander for the Franco-American War Veterans Post 12, and has been past commander of 161, and his name is Ted Kirpio. So please uncover for the invocation.
Uncover, please. Before reading the opening prayers, I would like to begin with a prayer for servicemen. O God of mercy, we beg you now to protect in a special way those who are fighting for us and for the country we love. Bless them and take care of them. If they are tired, give them strength. If they are wounded and suffering, give them comfort. If they are lonely, touch them with your gentle hand and let them know that you are near them. And if it be your holy will that they should give up their lives for us, grant them a good death and a home with you in heaven. Hasten the day, dear Lord, when we may all enjoy the blessings of peace once more. Almighty God, we thank thee for bringing us together this day. Inspire us to worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us towards the attainment of our goal. We pray thee to bless and protect all our people. Guide us on a path to unity and harmony, that we may serve these and thy people in keeping with thy holy will. Amen. Okay.
The Pledge of the Allegiance will be done by the George Fitzhenry, who is the president of the Lynn Veterans Council. And accompanying him this year, we have some Afghanistan and Iraq veterans. We have Captain Rosemary Cogan, an Army veteran of Afghanistan. And by the way, last month was 10 years that we were involved in the Afghanistan war. Also, accompanying George Fitzhenry is Sergeant First Class Jeffrey Hollett, an Army veteran of Iraq. He served 2 tours there, and one in Kuwait. And incidentally, we've been involved in Iraq for 8 years. Pretty long time when you think of it. Second World War didn't last half of that time. And also Sergeant Manuel Alcantara, a Marine veteran who served in Afghanistan and Iraq. So I ask George Fitzhenry, President of Lynn Veterans Council, to start us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Stay here, that's why you play the national anthem. Right hand salute. Post.
Forward. March.
Thank you. Now you may be seated. Enjoy the rest of today's program. I'd like to first of all acknowledge some of our elected officials who will not be speaking. Even though they are not speaking, we've been very fortunate in the city to have the administration, the mayor, through the city council, to be very supportive of the veterans and veteran services that the veterans in this city are able to secure. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge City Councilor at Large Paul Crowley, City Councilor at Large Dan Cahill, Ward 5 Councilor Brendan Creighton, and School Committee Member Rick Stabbard. First speaker that we will have is our mayor, and as I just alluded to earlier, we've been fortunate for the city to have the administration backing up the veterans of this city, so it's my pleasure to introduce at this time the Mayor of our city, Judith Flanagan Kennedy.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction, and welcome to everybody who's out here. I have been coming to Veterans Day assemblies for many, many years, and I can tell you that I have never seen as large a crowd as I do here today. And I think that says something very positive about our country. I think that we are all kind of renewing our sense of pride in who we are, and we're getting a clearer vision of where we want our country to go. And we know that we cannot realize those visions unless we have people like those of you who are here who are veterans, those who are currently serving, who are going to watch our backs and protect our freedoms and allow us to pursue our dreams. So for all of you out there who have served in the past, thank you. For those who are still serving us, thank you. May you be kept safe. And to all of you who support the veterans, that is also a very, very important part of their success. And please continue to support the veterans. Thank you all and welcome.
Next, I'd like to call on the first of our three speakers, and they each richly deserve to speak at this time, and they're our state representatives. I don't know how many times you may have seen their names in the paper, but they all represent some pretty important committees at the State House, and they've always kept Lynn in the forefront ever since I can remember. So it's my pleasure to introduce as the first speaker, Senator Tom McGee.
Thank you very much, and I'm honored to be here with so many veterans, both on the stage and in the audience. And I just want to, again, I think recognize Jim and all the hard work that he does every year for Veterans Day and Memorial Day. He does a great job. And I think on Veterans Day, hopefully, we all recognize the important contributions and sacrifice for veterans from all the different service branches, from all the different wars that are represented here today and throughout our history. And the real effort to make sure that those veterans and those services that are available are there for the veterans that need them. And Michael Sweeney is Lynn's example of what's going on around the Commonwealth. The Veteran Service Offices are the real connection in terms of what we feel about veterans as a Commonwealth and how we can make sure that the benefits and services that are richly deserved by all the veterans and their families are available. And that's important to remember as we're here on Veterans Day. In the legislature, I am now the acting chair of the Veterans Committee. I'm the acting chair because the current chair is serving in Iraq, Mike Rush, Senator Mike Rush. He's been in Iraq since early this year. We also have two legislators from the House of Representatives that are serving overseas, one in Iraq, one in Afghanistan, was just deployed to Afghanistan. So not only in the legislature, not only in here in the community, but in the legislature around the Commonwealth, veterans are putting their lives on the line every day for us, and we need to remember that. And I just want to say thank you to all the veterans, thank you to the families, and we need to continue to remember, not only on Veterans Day, but every day, the sacrifice and commitment that veterans are giving to this community and this country and making this the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator McGee. Now we'll hear from State Representative Robert Fennell.
Good morning, and thank you, Jim. And I think those are the two key words today that we can remember to say to the veterans who sacrificed their families and themselves to make sure our country continues to be the #1 country in the world, the one with all the democracy and the freedoms that we have. Two simple words: thank you. Thank you to Jim for what you do for the veterans and to keep these holidays alive and to organize these events. Thank you to Mike Sweeney for all he does for the veterans and for serving our country. To the guest speakers and to all the veterans out there in the audience, thank you. And to the children out there, remember, if it's your grandfather, your father or uncle or next door neighbor, just simply go up to them today or any day and say thank you, because it means a lot to the veterans just to be appreciated for all they've done to continue to keep us a very free country. God bless you all. God bless the city of Lynn, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. The last state representative, certainly not last on any podium that he goes to, but he happens to be last on this list for speaking, and that's State Representative Stephen Walsh.
Thank you very much, Jim. I also want to echo my thanks and congratulations to Jim and Michael for the extraordinary job that they do for both the city of Lynn and the greater Lynn region. I do want to pause, though, for just a moment and look at the week that has just passed in the city of Lynn and all of the events that have taken place that are directly related to the work and the sacrifice of our veterans. It started on Tuesday with a hotly contested election in the city of Lynn. Now, I think that some of those folks that stayed home and didn't go vote have certainly not understood and appreciated the sacrifice that the men and women have made in order so we could have a free election and have our democratic system work the way it did this past Tuesday. And over the course of the week, there were assemblies at each of our high schools celebrating Veterans Day. Those assemblies would not be able to take place but for the sacrifice of the veterans. The Lynn School Band, who's done such a terrific job here today, and at each of those events, under the direction of Mr. Joe Picano, are able to do what they do because of our veterans. And the same to our ROTC program. So it is appropriate, as Senator McGee and Representative Fennell have said, to say thank you to the veterans that are here today and all those others that have served. It is a unique time in the legislature, as Senator McGee mentioned, is that we have 3 active members, one who left a 1-year-old baby behind, and those that served from this city in World War II, my grandfather being one of them, and Nick here today from his troop, the 83rd Infantry. They know because they left small children behind here in the city when they went overseas. That hasn't happened in some years, and it's happening here today. The other thing that the legislature did this past week, which was an important step to acknowledge the sacrifice and the work of our veterans, is we put money in a supplemental budget to make sure that when the new veterans come back, at least to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, they're treated appropriately, there's jobs and workforce development available for them, there is money available for their families. We need to make sure that when our servicemen and women come back from Iraq and Afghanistan, they are treated with the dignity, the pride, the service, the honor that they have given for this country. And it's something that we frankly need to learn from history and learn from the past and make sure that those men and women who come home are treated better than any veterans ever have before. And all those veterans in the audience know exactly what I speak of. So it's an honor to join with you today. And as Senator McGee said, not just for this day, but for the 364 other days of year, not just on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, but each and every year. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you've done for us.
We have a few more speakers left. Before I call on our last 2, I'd like to acknowledge a representative from Representative John Turney's office. As you know, the congressional representative for this area, and he has been acknowledged and is represented here this morning by Rosemary Sargent. And from Senator Scott Brown's office, Pat Healy is representing the senator this morning, and the senator has sent a letter that he would like to have read at this ceremony. So I'd like to call on Pat Healy at this time to read that.
Thank you for having us here with you today to help celebrate and thank all of our veterans. I just have a short message from Senator Brown. that he wanted to pass along this morning. United States Senate, November 11th, 2011. Dear friends, today we honor the 24 million Americans who, at one time or another, answered the call to serve their country in uniform. Americans everywhere are forever indebted to the men and women who have sacrificed it all in order to maintain the freedoms that we enjoy. And today is not only a day to recognize those brave soldiers, but it is a day to honor their families who are also on the front line supporting them. For 10 years, thousands of our nation's Iraq and Afghanistan veterans have shown uncommon courage and resilience during multiple deployments. We're so fortunate to live in a country where brave men and women are willing to risk everything so that we can be safe. They fight for each other, for us, and for the ideals that form the fabric that binds us together as one people. Principles like freedom, equal justice, and democratic government. I believe that one of the best decisions I ever made was to serve this country. We've made a country worth fighting for and defending, and it's critically important that we remember those who defend our freedoms with the best care and assistance possible. As America celebrates and honors the contributions of our veterans today, we must come together as a nation and take action to help those who have served. We are Americans first. Thank you all for your service, and God bless America. Sincerely, Scott P. Brown, United States Senator. Thank you.
Majority of you out there realize the last speaker at almost every veterans affair that we have, at least the ones that I've done, I like to keep this man for the last speaker because he's on the council. He's the Ward 6 councilor, a fellow by the name of Peter Capano, which I'm sure many of you know. But most important, he's the chairman of the City Council Veterans Committee. And he's the voice of the veterans on the council meeting. Not only that, he's an Army veteran, so he knows what veterans are all about. So it's my pleasure to end with our last speaker, the Ward 6 councilor, Peter Capano.
Thank you, Jim. We're gathered here today to recognize the service to our country by today's veterans. We have a tradition in this country of recognizing those who have served so selflessly to preserve the values and the freedoms that all of us enjoy as Americans, and freedoms we should not take for granted. I feel like I've been fortunate to have been born in a country where we have so many freedoms, so many opportunities that are just not available to people in many other countries in different parts of the world. It's our veterans who have ensured that we can enjoy these advantages. It's our veterans who have preserved the rights of us as Americans to worship where we want, to vote, and to speak our minds freely if we choose. A great example of what this country makes this country so great is, like Representative Wall said, this past election, where candidates are free to battle it out, a competition of ideas on how to best deal with the problems of the city. In the end, we have a winner, but in reality, the city is the overall winner because there are no tanks blocking the entrance of City Hall. There are no riots in the streets. We have a government elected peacefully by us, the people, and we can thank the veterans for that. We also have an active veterans community in this city, a veterans community that recognizes the importance of honoring our veterans today, but also works year-round as effective advocates for veterans in the city and they also support our troops who are now serving. A veterans community that has rallied to save the Lynn VA clinic, whether it means going to New Bedford or going to a meeting at the Franco-American. Just 3 weeks ago, we had a strong showing of veterans advocates in this city. When the VA came here, there was a strong showing to ensure and protect the VA clinic that we have right now today. Where one time it was going to be closed, it's probably we have 4 or 5 times probably the capacity right now that we had in the beginning. We also have a community at large that is supporting its troops with the many care packages that are being gathered across the city to be sent overseas. I'm proud to be living in a city with this much activity going on. I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's important for us today to put things in their proper perspective. Today is time to remember, to honor, and recognize all of those who have served our country, because it is the American veteran who has ensured that we continue to enjoy these freedoms that we have today. So on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council and everybody up here today, I want to thank you, the American veteran, for your service to this great country, and thank you all for coming today.
Thank you, Peter. We've now come to part of our program where you're going to hear one of several musical selections as we get through the program. And the first one is a song called America, done by an individual who has a fantastic voice. Her name is Gail Bassarach. She's a teacher at our Lynn English High School, a talented singer who is proud of her country and her family's service. She was kind enough to perform for us on Memorial Day, and we are glad to have her back. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gail Bassarach.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Great job as usual. Now you're in for a surprise. We have probably two of the greatest junior ROTC drill teams within the country. The boys drill team that you're about to see finished 12th out of 114 units throughout the country now this is. And the girls placed 7th out of 114. So they put Lynn on the map. You know, we make a, not we, but a lot of people make a lot of fun about this city. But it's, when you have the youths like this that go out and represent us, at different competitions. Regardless of whether they win or finish last, they do it with dignity, and it brings proudness back to this city. So I'd like to introduce the Lynn Junior Marine ROTC drill team to start there.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we'd first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
Now we get to the program for our guest speaker. Very fortunate today to have this individual here. His name is Sean Tarasuik. He is a West Lynn native. Joined the United States Navy after graduating from Lynn Tech, and has spent more than 20 years in the Navy and will be retiring in a few months. We are fortunate to have him here to share some of his thoughts on this important day honoring our veterans. Please welcome Sean Tarasuik.
Well, that's going to be a tough act to follow with the singing. My name's Sean Tarasuik. I would like to thank all the distinguished guests, friends, family, and more importantly, the veterans in attendance here today. I'm honored and humbled to stand here in City Hall as a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a friend, a lifelong resident of Lynn, and a United States sailor. I have been in the Navy since I've been 17. I've been stationed in Tennessee, California, Virginia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and overseas in Italy. I've been to Iraq 14 times. I've literally been around the world 3 times. I have been in every major conflict from Desert Shield, Desert Storm to the present day. I've worked with every branch of the service. I will retire here soon with 23 and a half years of honorable service to move on to work for the Department of Defense, doing quality assurance on new weapon systems to defend our country. My father and my grandfather were both in the military, so it was natural for me to follow their footsteps. My father, the late John Tarasuic, made me make him a promise on his deathbed to finish the Navy, to be the best, and to move on to bigger and better things. However, never forget where you came from. Well, Gramps, I'm here, finishing my final tour of duty, honoring your promise and the city that we loved. Okay, now to the real reason why we are gathered here today. Once again, this Veterans Day, America will celebrate Veterans Day by pausing to honor and thanks its more than 20 million veterans and their families for the service, sacrifice, and support. First observed in 1990, commemorating Armistice Day, and permanently established in 1938 by Congress as a federal holiday, the purpose of Veterans Day was twofold: to commemorate the end of World War I and to allow our nation an occasion to thank those who served as soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. Throughout history, the brave men and women who have worn the cloth of our nation have defended America's interests and ideals while establishing the legacy of the United States military as the finest military force in the world. While the conflicts, operations, and battles have varied, our veterans share the same patriotic spirit, love of country, and willingness to sacrifice for the greater good that sparked our war for independence in 1775. A veteran is someone who, at one point in his life or her life, wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for the amount of up to or including their life. Veterans are a special breed of people. They have sacrificed, missed their families and friends, endured pains unfathomable to others, and bled for our country, for our ideals, for your freedom. And if you were to ask something of a veteran to do, thinking that that project may be impossible or too dangerous, they would do it with a smile and a sense of pride. Please realize when one chooses to go into the military, when they leave your home, they are not the same person that returns. They have been instilled with the best of values that our government has to offer and have been through hard events in their life that you may have seen on TVs or just dreamt about. They lived it, they pushed through, and some are here today, and some are looking down upon us. In the military, it has always been a team concept: one team, one fight. May I ask again, and I know they've already had the veterans stand, may I ask all veterans please stand. Thank you. Thank you. I salute you. Family and friends of veterans, you were and are the lifeline back home. You are our strength that keeps us going. Whether friends and families of the veterans or people serving today, please stand up. I'd like to thank my loving, caring wife, my sons that are spitting an image of me. God bless them. My parents for their devotion, my brothers that lend a listening ear every now and then, my friends for being there for me Without all of you, I would not have been so strong and have completed this journey. To the veterans and their family, on behalf of our great nation, this hometown boy salutes you. God bless America.
Thank you very much, Sean. And that little boy, he said, looks like the spitting image of him is sitting in the front row with his wife. Why don't you stand? Sean's wife and children. Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on the director of our fine arts program here in the city of Lynn. He's responsible for many things, including this group of fine musicians you see in front of us, and it makes me always proud when I'm at these functions to say that this group started a few years back with probably 5 or 6 pupils, a fact. And it's grown to this size, and they've got now jazz bands. They participate in various deals around the state and the country, and we're very proud to have them. So at this time, I'd like to call on Joe Picano, the Director of Fine Arts here in the city, to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for attending this wonderful, wonderful program today. Before I also give my thanks to our veterans, I would like to tell you how honored I am to be here. I was asked to say a few words and had a little speech prepared, and that was changed just the other day when I was walking down Market Street, and as it happens quite frequently, someone will come up and say, gee, the kids sound good, we're glad you do this, that, and the other thing. It was a woman veteran, and after she complimented me, she said to me, but do the kids really know why they're going to be there? And I thought about it, so I'm directing my words today and my thanks in a different manner. It's an informative couple of things to say. Our department has won numerous awards, which I'm not going to talk about, but we couldn't get our program, which is outstanding, and we couldn't get these awards without the constant support of the men and women sitting in back of me, which have already been introduced, from the mayor to the city council. No matter what affair I go to, I can see these people in back of me supporting us all the time. They're there all the time. So before I get to the part to answer what that woman asked, I have to thank everyone in back of me. Thank you all. From the State House right down to City Hall, our department gets support right to the children. And I can be quite frank in telling you that I'm questioned quite a bit. Like, how are the kids doing? What are the kids doing? What are you doing in the curriculum? As far as the curriculum goes, we are fortunate enough to have the mayor who went up to the plate and got the first band to be accepted for the 4th of July Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. Did all the paperwork. There's only one other community that came in after us, and that's Wakefield, where my grandson and his friend right there are attending the program today with me. So getting back to what I was talking about, we can't get these programs without the support of the men and women in back of me. They can't give me the support unless we have the freedom to do that. Some of the things that we do to answer this wonderful woman's question, and for every other veteran that is sitting here, is from the superintendent down, we have work to do in the curriculum. That's certain things that bring our standards up. We have to do writing formulas and things. We have the music department integrating with all the schools from K through 12. Our writing part of it is the national anthem. What went behind the anthem? Words of freedom that they write about. Who gave us this freedom? We have an assignment that we give the music and art teachers who reinforce the freedoms that you have given us. So I can assure you that every child in all 27 schools, because of the curriculum we have put forth with the effort of the mayor, the superintendent, and forward from that, we have written assignments that the children learn about what is a veteran, how do we get our freedoms, etc., etc. We have over 600 kids in the program, in the performing program, but we expose this writing to every child from grades 1 through 12. There isn't a child that comes out of the Lynn Public Schools who does not know about our freedoms that we got from the veterans in the form of patriotic music, etc. In ending this, just so that you'll know that we support the veterans even in our curriculum, the students that you see in front of you are parts from all parts of the city, and they represent us very well. They cannot be in the band unless they attend the two most important days of the year, and that is Veterans Day and Memorial Day performances. And because of the veterans, it's their freedom of choice to either be in the band or not. And as you can see, they choose to be here on their day off. We never come to a program for the veterans without being assisted by the ROTC, directed by Sergeant Major Ken Oswald. If you see us, you will see them. If you see them most of the time, you will see us. So all of the rest of the students in Lynn are top shelf. These kids are committed. So in ending this, I would like the veterans to know that we support you, we love you, and from our soul, we thank you.
We thought that that would be a good touch today to not only honor the veterans who served in the various branches, but to make sure that everyone in the audience, if you really didn't know what the particular service flag of that branch of the service look like. So that's why we did that. Now I would like to call on Captain Rosemary Coogan, who was up here earlier at the Pledge of the Allegiance. She's a veteran, as I indicated earlier, of Afghanistan. She's a Lynn English School, high school graduate. She attended Norwich University, and following her graduation went into the service. She's going to read a poem to us entitled, "It is a Veteran," and listen to these words because I think it's very, very meaningful. Captain Rosemary Coogan.
It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag. Eternal rest grant them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them.
Thank you, Rosemary. Now we'll hear from the Lynn High School Band again, and this time they're going to give us a patriotic melody of songs. We're winding down. We're getting to the point in our program where Dick Perry, who has been with us for many years and plays taps, is here today to also do that. And the echo you will hear from Lynn English High School orchestra member Kyle McCollin. And even though today is a day to remember our living veterans, and we certainly should, we should never forget the ones who have given the supreme sacrifice of their lives in defense of this country. So at this time, I would ask everyone to please stand. may be seated. I have a few closing remarks, and we're winding down. And remember, after the ceremonies, there is some light refreshments out in the entranceway, so feel free to join with each other. We thanked a lot of people today, but I'd like to thank one more group, a gentleman who's behind the scenes but puts a lot of work and helps us out in these affairs, and that's the president of the Lynn Veterans Council, George Fitzhenry. So I'd like to thank him and his council members for all the support that they give the veterans of this city. George? As I have done in the past, my closing remarks are to ask you to continue to support veterans and the benefits that they are entitled to. Our government at times either wants to reduce or do away with these each time the veterans' budget is due. Commander-in-Chief of the VFW, Richard Denoya, who, by the way, comes from Medford, Massachusetts, brought up some very important points in the last edition of this VFW magazine. And I'd like to give you some excerpts that he mentioned in this article, because I think it's important for us to know, especially the ones that maybe do not get some of these publications. And here is what he says. There are tense economic times for the nation, and veterans in particular. It is essential for all of us to remain ever vigilant. America is undergoing some tough financial times, and veterans and active duty troops are certainly not exempt from this economic downturn. The VFW has identified at least 10 specific cuts to veterans and military benefits that Congress may be trying to reduce or eliminate. I'd like to emphasize may. These cuts would essentially pay for 10 years of war, dubbed the 10 for 10 plan. The proposed cuts of these 10 benefits are as follows. 1, increase TRICARE health care premiums for military retirees. 2, increase pharmaceutical fees for troops and families and veterans. 3, eliminate presumptive service connection for future conditions associated with Agent Orange exposure. 3, lock out or increase fees for priority groups 7 and 8. 5, reduce cost of living allowance. 6, freeze military pay. 7, end government subsidizing for military commissaries. 8, eliminate stateside Department of Defense elementary schools. 9, eliminate the 20-year military retirement plan. And 10, eliminate defense tuition reimbursement programs for service members. Our veterans and military have earned each of these benefits, which Congress is consider reducing or cutting. You may remember our nation broke similar promises to the World War I veterans. The VFW states it will not stand for broken promises, and I think all of us here today agree. Our elected leaders and the public needs to be reminded that the nation has an unwritten pact to honor our veterans and military. I would like to now give you some statistics from the Veterans Administration, which I think you will find interesting. The Veterans Administration indicates that the projected veterans population today is 22,658,000. A lot of veterans, and even more so, a lot of votes. especially when you include family members. Take a World War II veteran, wife still alive, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So that one veteran really can equate to anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 votes if we use them. The projected living World War II veterans as of September 20th, 2010 is 1,981,000. But this group is dying at the rate of 800 a day. Veterans 65 and older equate to 40.5%. And for the fiscal year 2010, there are 8,343,000 veterans enrolled in the VA healthcare system. So in closing, make sure you either write or call your representatives and voice your strong opinions on veterans' benefits. Hopefully the two individuals representing Senator Brown, Representative Turney, will carry what we are saying today back to them so that they can talk to the committees that are looking to either reduce or cut these benefits. As I said, there were 22,658,000 veterans plus family members. That's a big lot of votes. We need the younger veterans to join us. They are not doing that. They should be joining veterans organizations to keep our voice strong. They are not doing this. If they need some benefits later in life, as most of us who are on some kind of programs with the health system of the VA has occurred. When most of you people got out of the service, you didn't avail yourself of any benefits. You didn't need them. But as you get older, things happen, and now you may be in the system. That's the same thing that may occur to these people that have served in Afghanistan and Iraq. The problem is they're not voicing the strong vote that we have because they don't need these benefits. The sad part is if they need them later on, they may be off the books. So hopefully the message gets out, and if you don't belong to organizations and get publications like this, I would have never known about those 10 things. You don't hear that from the congressmen or the representatives till all of a sudden it's voted on and they say, comes out in the paper, well, we're going to reduce this, we're going to reduce that. Then it's too late. So you got to stay in tune with what's occurring. So let's make sure at least that the 8,343,000 veterans that are now in the VA health system continue to receive the benefits provided, and let's make sure the veterans in the future who may need those services receive them. They earned them, and they deserve them. Thank you, and thank you, veterans.
God bless America. Join me, please. Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Before I call on Ted Kirpiel for the convocation, I again would like to thank all of the individuals that participated, the band, Lynn Jr., ROTC, all our elected officials. I want a big hand for those people. And now we'll have Ted Kirpiel give the invocation. Please stand, uncover.
Right, uncover for the closing prayer, please. Glory be to you, our Lord and God, as we behold the blessings you have given us as citizens of the United States of America. We thank you, Lord, for this blessed and bountiful land. Help us renew our loyalty to this great country and enable us to rededicate ourselves in faith to thy service. We pray, Lord, in thy name, amen. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our ceremonies. Don't forget, take whatever's out there, sandwich, a cup of coffee. Thank you again all for attending. We appreciate it.